Well, hello builders, and welcome back to the World Zoo project, a giant zoo where I am trying to fit a habitat for every animal in the game. And in today's video, we will be creating a habitat for the cheetahs in our African adventure expansion to the zoo. Now, I want to start off the video by saying I want to thank you all for your support because this zoo is now actually complete, even though I have a huge backlog of videos for these speed builds. But if you want to download the zoo, link is in the description down below for the workshop. Now, let's get started on the building, shall we? I start off the build today with a raised up viewing area at the back end of their habitat. This way, of course, guests can come up and have a little bit of a better vantage point of the cheetahs. And then it will also double as an education point for guests to come learn more about these animals. Probably learn about how fast they are, but I feel like everybody already knows that, so we gotta come up with some other facts to tell the guests. Maybe the educator has gone out there and counted how many spots are on every single cheetah. I'm not too sure what they could come up with. I'm not an educator, but you gotta make it fun for the kids. Maybe add a little bit of personality to the cheetahs. Talk about how one cheetah doesn't like eating like the other cheetahs. He's a little more picky, and that's why he doesn't have the energy to run as fast as the other cheetahs. And then you play it off and make it look like the kids need to finish their meals that their parents give them. And then the educator shyly just takes a $5 from the parents and a wink and a nod, and that's how you educate your kids. Just bribing the educators to put in a life lesson in there. I mean, can you blame them for taking a bribe? I barely pay them anything. Anyways, moving on, let's talk about what we're doing now. This is an add-on to the Predator Plateau build I had done previously with the hyenas. I'll leave a link to that video down below so you can see how we built that huge building. But we are just now adding in a cave for the cheetahs to sleep in. I always like adding in caves or dens to animals for them sleeping rather than little barns or makeshift structures that look like they're man-made. This way they look a little bit more natural, and it hopefully makes the animals a bit more happy. Now, since cheetahs do not climb, they don't have a lot of climb frames in their habitat. I just added in a few ramps here and there just to add a bit of elevation to different parts of their cave. This way the cave doesn't look as boring. Now, for all my other large cats other than the lions, they of course love to climb, so I fill their habitats with all the climb frames. But there is another little detail I love doing with my big cats, and that is creating a walk-through dome with a glass ceiling so that the cats can crawl above the guests. Obviously, I can't do that here, so this one, like the lions, are probably the only two cat species in the game that doesn't have this feature in my zoo. A lot of the other cat videos are on my channel, so go check them out if you want to see what I'm talking about, or download this zoo on the workshop and look for it yourself. Although, be warned, this zoo is pretty massive, and there are some people who have reported being unable to open it on their PCs. But if you ever look at any of my other videos, you'll see why this zoo is so hard to open for some people. There is just so much detail. Even then, I had to stop myself from adding in all the details I would want because I knew if I added in too many details, this zoo would not be able to handle it, as it's just a hard limitation of the game and of my PC. Although getting away from all that, let's talk more about what we're actually building. As you can see, it's a lovely little waterfall. The perfect way to build your waterfalls is to just add in rocks all around it and not just settle for the game's natural little waterfall blocks. Those things, well, they look great for the water effects. The rest of them, not so much. So you gotta add a little bit of decoration to them to make them look a little bit more natural for the animals. Now that we have the main cave complete along with that little side viewing area, it's time to start really decorating the interior of the habitat, and the best way to start doing that is with the rock work, which is of course the strong foundation we need to build the rest of the habitat upon. So let's just sit back, listen to some nice Planet Zoo music, chill out, and just watch some rocks get put into the habitat. Now, rocks are all great and all, but of course guests cannot see through the rocks, so we have to add in glass. and we're going to just use these glass walls that we had built previously for some other habitats. This way guests can of course see the cheetahs, which is a little obvious, but it's the main point of the zoo. You need guests to see the animals. And amongst it we will be adding in a few bits of floating glass panels, but we will of course decorate that with, well, you guessed it, more rocks. That way it looks like these glass panels are embedded right into the rock walls. And just like that, all the rock detailing is done and we can start really decorating the habitat. We'll start off, of course, with the big trees. You gotta get your big plants in first, and then you'll work your way down to all the little bits afterwards. Perhaps I add too many trees for these savanna habitats, but you know what? I just love these trees. I love the look of them. I love the big baobab trees, plus those twisted ones with the trunks going all directions. Oh, they all look so good. Although taking a quick break from doing all the plants, I decided that I wanted to add in just a small little area on the back half of the habitat. There's nothing too fancy, just a little thing for cheetahs to sleep under to get away from that hot African sun. Alright, now we can start with the rest of the plants. We'll just start adding in bushes everywhere, doing a little bit of terrain painting, and then we'll fill the whole space with some grasses and some flowers and just make the whole thing look like a beautiful habitat for the cheetahs to run up and down in. Oh, this is always my favorite part of the habitat building. As much as I love doing all the rock work and the early planting, I just know that now with all these plants going in, the habitat is nearing its completion, and then I can start working on my next habitat, and my mind is already abuzz with what I want to do with that one. I tell you, my mind is just overflowing sometimes with what I want to do. But that's why I love playing these chill building games. It just lets me be creative and it helps flex that creative muscle. And now here comes the part of the video where I have to remind you, it's a YouTube. Make sure to do all those YouTube things like liking and commenting and subscribing and all that stuff. Okay, there, I got it out of the way. Now let's do a proper outro for the video. I just want to personally thank everybody who has supported me on this project over on Twitch. From everybody who has just lurked quietly in the corner, or those who have subscribed. I appreciate all of you for all the support you've given me over these 21 months of this project. What started off as me streaming because I was bored from losing my job and not knowing what else to do, has turned into something amazing. Streaming this zoo for 21 months has allowed me to meet so many amazing and creative people in my life, and I appreciate all of you. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I have put this on the workshop, and I have made sure that every single follower on Twitch has their name in the zoo. So again, why don't you click the link down below, go download this file, and try and find your own name if you are one of my followers. Or if you're new to the channel, well, download it anyways and just go around and take a look. There is also a huge 5-hour long tour that I have put out recently for the channel. So go ahead and take a look at that as we walk around as a guest and look at all 210 species. And as we walk around, you'll understand why it took over 5 hours. Or should I say only 5 hours, because in reality, I was just walking around the zoo as quickly as I can to try and show off as much as I could. But if you end up down in the zoo, you could probably spend even longer walking around and seeing all the little details we've put in this thing over the last 21 months. And if you want to come say hi to me, click the link down below and join me over on Twitch, where I build things like this all the time. Although admittedly, I am going to be taking a little bit of a break on my Twitch channel from Planet Zoo, as I feel like I've been a little burned out on it after this big project has now been completed. But enough of all this rambling and self-promotion, let's just end it here and do this cinematic road tour. Well, builders, I hope you have an amazing day, and you're creative in everything you do. Have a good one. Goodbye.